The Orlando Magic have been playing really well as of late, especially without Paolo Banchero, and it kind of raises some questions about the future of this team and what they should look like when he does return here in the pretty near future. They started to play well, to be fair, prior to Paulo going out. But that has continued and continued in a big way as of late for the Magic. They've scored at least 129 points in 4 straight games. They've scored at least 120 in 5 straight games. They're one of the best offenses in basketball since Paulo went out, and are just playing great as a whole. To be fair, a lot of this positive progress started with Paulo still playing. They started the season 1-4 and looked terrible doing so, but ever since have looked pretty solid. 123 points, 125 points, 127, 123, 111 or 107 wasn't great, 115, 124. But then again, since Paulo went out, a couple of iffy games here and there, but specifically a lot of good offense as of late for the Magic. And I think it's giving this team a little more opportunity to grow into itself and also to redefine its identity. I think playing through Paulo, as talented of a player as he is probably not a particularly efficient way to run your offense. He shoots a lot of twos. He's not an unbelievably efficient player. He's an extremely skilled and talented player, and I am not by any means suggesting that the Magic should trade Paolo Banchero or anything like that. I'm suggesting that their offense needs to shift and change to allow Paulo to fit more with the players that he is playing with and maybe not be such a ball dominant guy, especially if he's going to shoot 46% from the field and 25% for three. That's not going to cut it realistically. He has been 53% from 2-point range this year so far, which is obviously good, but again, I just don't think he has ever been an extraordinarily efficient player. Throughout his career, this is the best he's ever shot from 2-point range, and I do hope that continues. The 3-point shooting is actually down from the last couple of years, but it's never been at a great level. 34%, 32% last year. Not extremely efficient. He's never been a highly efficient player, and he's not playing at a highly efficient level this year. Now, I think some of that efficiency will positively go in the right direction, especially maybe if he is less of the ball dominant focal point of the offense and is still a very important, very key part of the offense, but maybe not quite so much with the ball in his hands as the primary initiator. Allow guys like Desmond Bane and Jalen Suggs to be guards, and I think allowing those guys to be guards and to facilitate has been really effective. Franz Wagner might be the most talented offensive player on this team. In fact, I think a lot of people would just agree that he flat out is. He's averaging 23 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. Just better than 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, which is really, really solid for your guard as well. Desmond Bane's averaging 4.6 assists per game, again at a 2.1 assist to turnover ratio, and is playing a lot better as of late, averaging 17 a game now. He's up to 33% from three, which obviously still isn't great, but he started the season really, really cold, just kind of across the board. I feel like wasn't playing well, and he's a career 40% three-point shooter, has always been a high-level three-point shooter. So I think there is an expectation there that that's going to continue, and that he's going to continue to shoot the ball in a better way, and that those numbers will continue to positively progress as the year progresses, which you would hope is going to be the case, of course, considering how much draft assets they gave up for Desmond Bane. And that's the one issue I think with this Magic team, is that I feel like they're kind of capped out. Not, I mean, not capped out, but they're a little more limited, a lot more limited, honestly, in terms of really trying to improve their roster now after pushing a lot of chips in for Desmond Bane. That being said, Wendell Carter Jr. has been good this year. He's played, I think, very, very well. He's started 18 to 19 games so far this year, shooting 45% from three. That's elite. He's been 60% nearly from 2-point range. That's elite. He's playing really, really well. Anthony Black has taken a clear step forward this year, playing 27 minutes a game and shooting the three ball okay. He had 31 points last night, had his career high in the first half, scored 25 in the first half. His previous career high was just 23 in a game. He scored 31 points on 12 of 17, 4 6 from 3 this last night. He has really, I think, progressed around the rim offensively, but also as a shooter offensively. We know he's an extremely talented, valuable defensive player, and his ability to play at this high of a level, though, I think is big for this team, and I think it's going to really enable him to play a even bigger and bigger role on this squad for sure. Now, some of the other young guys, you wonder what you're going to get from them, especially this year. I'm not 100% sold on the impact of a Jet Howard, Noah Penda, Jace Richardson, guys like that as of yet, although all have shot the ball very well in various amounts of playing time. So we'll see if they continue to get more opportunities as the year progresses. Jonathan Isaac has he went from starting in a playoff series a couple years ago against the Cavs to being, he's like barely in the rotation. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. Maybe it's just that inability to shoot the three ball makes it tough for him to find consistent minutes. I wonder what Mo Wagner's role will look like on this team when he gets back, considering as of right now they still have Goga and Wendell Carter Jr. I like Goga a lot. His efficiency from the 2-point line or from inside the arc is extremely impressive himself, but he doesn't provide that stretch big capability that Wendell Carter Jr. does, which to be fair, I think is important with some of these rim pressure guards they have. Franz, Paulo, Anthony Black, guys like that. But honestly, across the board, they're shooting the ball better as of late, and they're playmaking a lot better as of late as well. I think the numbers are very indicative. First 4 games of the season, or first 5 games of the season, they started terrible. Assist percentage was 4th worst in basketball. Defensive rating was fine. It wasn't good by any, no, it actually wasn't particularly good. It's 23rd in basketball, and the offensive rating was even worse than that. Bottom 4 offensive rating in basketball. First 4 games of the year, they were a bottom 5 team in the league. They looked terrible. Since Paolo Banchero's been out, which again, they played a few games in between here and there, but they now have the 11th best assist percentage in basketball in the time that Paulo's been out. Their net rating is 12.2, which is 4th best in basketball behind only OKC, Houston, and Toronto. And their defensive rating has not really taken a huge hit. They're at 11th in the league defensive rating wise. Offensive rating is 4th. They're playing great across the board. They're playmaking a lot more. The assist to turnover stuff is way better. A 2.28 is 3rd best in basketball. They're not turning the ball over a ton. They're playmaking very well. There's a lot of sharing the basketball going on, a lot of efficiency, and it's performing. It's showing in an extremely high level offense, and that's what you need to find a way to sustain once Paolo Banchero comes back. I think he is a very talented player, but I think there is going to have to be some adjustment in the way that he wants to play. He's not LeBron James, and that's not a criticism of him as a player. Nobody's LeBron James. And I think Paulo is, in a lot of ways, the closest thing physically to a LeBron that a lot of us have seen in terms of the bull in the china closet, ability to get to the rim and get his shots consistently, physicality, all that type of stuff. But he's not the talented playmaker LeBron was. He's not quite the athlete LeBron was, obviously. Nobody really is. And I just think that that's a difficult comparison for Paulo to try to live up to. And he's not a guy you probably want to funnel your offense through because he's not efficient enough for it. Let him be a little more off the ball, run plays and actions for him. Let him screen and use that to create mismatches and switches. You got to work him into the offense, I think, a little bit more, in a little bit more niche ways, I guess, and not focus on him as the primary focal point of your offense. The standings aren't looking bad for them, to be fair. They are only 5 games back. They're 2.5 games back of the 2 seed. They are absolutely still in the mix for anything. And again, they've won 10 of their last 14 games. They were playing better before Paulo went out. So I think he's open to this flexibility offensively for sure. The question with this team is they don't really have a ton of extra draft assets. They certainly don't even have all their own anymore. Obviously, pick swaps are owed for several years, 26 and 29, in addition to not having a 2028 first at all, not having a 2030 first at all. Like, they, to be fair, have traded away a lot of their draft assets at this point. They do have a few extra second-round picks and a couple of pick swaps in a few years and stuff for second-round picks, but that's not, at the end of the day, a huge thing. And I think there is a certain amount of concern that I would have about, okay, this team is a little capped out in terms of their roster. They don't have a ton of tradable assets left, and you probably don't want to push all of those chips to the middle at this point. That being said, the East is wide open. And I would say, I've said it for the Pistons, I've said it for the Raptors, talking about those teams this week. Those teams are going to try to go for it. The Magic kind of should too. Maybe, again, and I'm not saying go for it in terms of pushing all your chips to the middle. I'm just saying go for it in terms of you really need to be competitive this year. You got to figure it out. And the Magic have seemed to figure it out offensively as of late. So I'm hoping that that can continue and that Paulo can assimilate to this team a little bit more effectively here once he returns shortly. I am excited to watch it, though. They're great defensively, and I think that aspect will only get better. And I just want to see some of these young guys develop as well. If you continue to get more contributions from Anthony Black and Tristan Da Silva and guys like that, while your core of Franz, Suggs, Paulo, Bane continues to play well, if Wendell Carter Jr. continues to shoot the 3 ball at a high level, all this stuff is good for the Magic, and I think puts them on a successful trajectory to have a great year and be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. So with that being said, it's going to do it for the video. Hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.